Okay, so first page here, one thing you'll notice that's different from other projects we've done is there was only one packet and you're just turning in one packet together. So on the front, make sure that you have both of your names, name and partner and name, put both your names on there. That's grade 2, the date is the 26th. So put both your names. Fauna, can you move up and work with Janelle because it'll make it so you have like half the work. Okay, so here's the packet that you're working in. I specifically printed it. It's not two-sided because you're actually going to rip the pages apart. So rip them all apart. Then before you turn it in, you'll staple it back together. Look at Kaylin trying to do it all perfect. Just rip. No? Okay. You'll be able to talk like the whole class. Just give me like 2 minutes. Genesis Mackenzie, Hunter, quiet please so I can get this out. Okay, so you'll notice that there's 2 pages that look kind of like this. So you take one and give your partner one. So there's 2 pages that look like this, just one to you, one to your partner. And then there's 2 pages that look kind of like this, one to you and one to your partner. So you each have 2 pages to do. That makes sense? Okay, let me repeat that. So there's 2 pages look like this, one to you, one to your partner, and then there's 2 pages that look like this, one to you and one to your partner. Cool? You got it so far? No? Okay, next instructions. So here's the gist. Population density, we learned about it yesterday. At different times in your life, you've undoubtedly had feelings that you were in a space that was too crowded. Around the globe, social scientists measure the geographic term population density. Mackenzie, population density is a measurement of the population per unit of area, often square miles. As you would expect, cities will have a much higher population density than small towns. However, it's when these cities begin to get compared with each other that you'll get the sense of which cities feel the busiest. So this first chart just talks about population density in general of the biggest cities in the United States. And for each chart, I have an example done so that way you can figure out what to do. So here it says the population of Chicago, Illinois is this much. The square mileage of Chicago, Illinois is this much. So just like the equation for population density, take the number of people, population, and divide it by square miles to get the people per square mile. And you'll continue doing the same calculation for each of these. And of course you'll use, don't get up and get a calculator right now. Hold on. Wait, let me get the instructions out. You'll divide this, put the answer here, and then you'll get the population density for each of these cities. Then over here, if Disney World were a city, what would the population density, or how many people would be in the park per day? So here it says the total attendance of Magic Kingdom for the whole year, and then you divide that by the number of days per year, and you get about 50,000 people per day in Magic Kingdom. So Epcot, it tells you how many people attend that park per year. You're going to take that number, divide it by the number of days per year, and then you'll get the number of people that go to Epcot per day. So far, so good? Okay, then if you have this side of it, now you're going to start looking at the square mileages for the park. So the parks are actually measured in acres, but we're going to be looking at population density in square miles, so that way we can compare it to these big cities. So we need to change the acres into square miles. 1 acre is this many square miles, so you're just taking this number and multiplying it by the number of miles per acre. And then whatever you get, that is going to be the square mileage of the park. And you'll write down the answer. Then here, now that we have the total square miles for each park, you take the average daily attendance, which your partner calculated, divided by total square miles, and you get the population density of the park, or an average population density per day, right here. Then over here, the follow-up questions These are just asking questions about your data. Some of the data, though, is going to be on your partner's paper. So, for example, it says to compare the population densities of the parks, which we calculated here, to the big cities in the United States. So you're just going to compare this data to this to come up with conclusions. Are the parks more crowded? Are the cities more crowded? Is there a park and a city that are relatively the same crowdedness? You will answer that here. And then for this one, are the cities more dense than New York City? So you take the population divided by so you take the population density divided by the population density of New York City to figure out how much more crowded Epcot is than New York City. It looks like Magic Kingdom is 11 times more crowded than New York City. And again, another follow-up question based on your data. Okay, then both of you have one of these. These are for the different parks. This is Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. They're very similar charts. So what we have here is it says the predicted total attendance for different times of the year. So it says January, beginning of January, end of January, beginning of February, end of February. And this is how many people they predict to attend during that time frame. So you want to try to find the daily attendance. So you're going to take this number and divide by 14. You might want to make a note. And you're going to divide all these by 14 days because it's half the month. Divide by 14 days and you can get the daily attendance. Then, while this number is still in your calculator, so to save yourself a little bit of time, so you're going to take this number, 478,192, divided by 14 days, so you get this number for the number of days, round to the nearest whole number, which I did here, and that's the number of people per day, and then the area right here, I don't know why it didn't print the decimal, but there's supposed to be a decimal there. Divide this by the area, which would be 0.16719. So while this number is in your calculator, divide it by 0.16719, and you get the population density during that time of the year, 204,298. And so that's what you'll do here for these charts. You'll divide by 14, and then divide by the area, which is always up here. And then, let's see. Oh, I put this in, divide by 14, and then divide by this area right here. I did fill in half the chart because this gets a little tedious, but when you're answering your questions, consider these numbers too. So, for example, busiest times, least busiest times, when should you go, when should you not go, etc. And these are based on real numbers. So, yeah, any questions? Okay, you can go ahead and get started. If you need a calculator, you can grab one off the wall. And if you have questions, let me know. This is due today, so make sure to